for one, and also to feel confident in their skin and to feel great, look great, while also dispelling myths and getting rid of all the extra noise, because I know in my industry, we have a lot of gimmicks and things. So I like to clear that noise.
So.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kayla. I am a certified health and life coach and a certified yoga teacher. I teach at a couple studios in Brooklyn. So if you live in Brooklyn, let's talk later. I have a background in nutrition and dietetics. That's where my health journey in terms of studies started with my bachelor's degree. And from there, just had a really strong passion for the community health end of things when it comes to nutrition. So when I graduated from undergrad, I went into the Peace Corps and did community health and discovered that I had a love particularly for working with women and children. That led me to working for women, infants, and children back in Baltimore City, which is where I grew up. And now that I'm in New York, it's been about a year since I started my own small business, K. Wiley Coaching. I have also a specialty in hormone health, and I love to work particularly with women and helping them create balance, more ease, and shifting mindsets. A lot about what Olivia was speaking about, right? Letting things go, reframing. I think the way that you spoke was so beautiful because it's all about perspective and reframe. So not only is my coaching based in nutrition and hormone health and those sciences, but also in supporting our perspective and what are the things that are holding us back so that we can be our best selves.
This question is a mirror.
Yeah.
With packed schedules, how can busy entrepreneurs or high achievers sustain energy and peak performance without living in the gym?
Okay, so without living in the gym, you need to know that you don't have to actually go to a gym. There are a lot of things you can do at home. There are a lot of things you can do that aren't necessarily intense workouts. So some people don't like to sweat. They don't like to feel pain or exertion. And so people like that, I do recommend having a practice of walking, which is very basic. You can get into the practice of having walking meetings. You can do that on the phone, Zoom, with the person in person. You can also get into the habit of taking a walk after meals. That's great for your health. Outside of that, you can also get a TRX, train at home, grab a mini trampoline, do a little jumping in between work. Perfectly fine. A walking pad, also great for a standing desk. Now, can you repeat your question again?
With packed schedules, how can busy entrepreneurs or high achievers sustain energy and peak performance without living in the gym?
Okay. All right. Also, without living in the gym, you also need to prioritize your nutrition. So one thing that'll help you balance your blood sugar throughout the day is to always eat in a balanced manner. So lead with protein. A lot of people will skip meals, or they'll try to live off of caffeine, or they'll not get enough sleep. And that just creates a whole spiral effect, because when you're underslept, for one, you're going to end up wanting more sugar because that'll perk you up. You'll also reach for more caffeine, and ultimately you're going to crash, and then you're going to reach for those things again, and it's just a big mix.
Okay. So you said lead with protein.
Yes.
I got a confession. Usually, I don't eat the typical breakfast, like eggs, sachets, pancake. I usually eat leftover dinner for breakfast.
That's great. That's great.
My coworkers would look at me weird and like, girl, you're supposed to eat pancake and eggs for breakfast. So that's a good thing to do. Get in the evening.
It's perfect. It's perfectly fine. In fact, I think it's good practice to get out of the mentality of calling meals breakfast, lunch, dinner, or snack. Definitely, like, don't even bother using. Just think of it: meal one was your first meal of the day, your second meal, your third meal, your fourth meal. It makes things easier, and then you're also not going to get into the habit of grabbing a snack. And a snack is usually unbalanced. It's usually just like high glycemic. It's usually carbs, fats, not protein. So what you're doing is great. It's great. You don't have to have a typical breakfast.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell my coworkers that then,
Yes.
if you are an expert in that field, they can shut their mouths.
Also, if someone's eating pancakes and sausage and eggs every morning, I'm kind of jealous. But also, yeah, that's like my Sunday morning, you know, like big breakfast. But yeah, anyways, you're doing great.
Thank you. Kayla, I know that you also help women with their nutrition. The last time we were on the phone, you mentioned what we should eat when we are having our menstrual cycle. Can you explain to the audience in brief but detail on what women can eat during their cycle so they're energized, they're productive? And as a man, you might be wondering, what the hell does menstrual cycle have to do with me? Well, one, you probably have wife, girlfriends, mother. You probably work with females. So by you understanding their mood during that time, you'll be able to better work with them or get along with them because you have a better understanding on what they're going through. So go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. This is my favorite topic of all time. So I do want to ask a question to all of you. Like, showing on your fingers how many phases of a the menstrual cycle, like meaning in the whole of the about 30 days, does a woman have? And like, this isn't, you know, you're not getting graded, so it's okay. Like, put those hands up high. Put those hands up high. Okay. I see some 5s. I see a lot of 4s. I see a couple 3s. I see 10. Whoa, 10. Okay, awesome. So yeah, there are 4 phases. And it is my belief, and also not just my opinion, but backed by science, that the more that we understand each of our nutritional needs and our lifestyle needs during these phases, the more ease and peace that we'll be able to create around our menstrual health. I think we've been socialized as women to understand that it means suffering, to understand that there's like, right? That PMS that week before has to mean that we're crazy and moody and everything is terrible. And I think sometimes when we are socialized to have this kind of understanding, we play into it even more. To answer your question, there is a higher caloric need if we're talking about the week of menstruation, the week that we're actually having our period. Your calorie needs are actually increased by 300 to 400 calories a day. So it is not a suggestion, it is a requirement that you are actually nourishing yourself. And so like when you're feeling like you want to eat the kitchen sink, it's not just because you're moody and you're trying to make yourself feel better emotionally, it's because your body actually really needs it. And on top of that, if we're talking about mood and we're talking about mood and showing up consistently, those foods around the time of menstruation should include foods that are going to even out your blood sugar, right? So whole grains, brown rice, quinoa, root vegetables like sweet potatoes and turnips and things that have a really high fiber count, so that when you're putting it in, your body is already burning so much that you need that high caloric intake, but you want it to be good stuff and you want it to be balanced, like you said. So there's fruit, veg, protein, and that whole grain. All of it is there. And then if you take that back to the opposite, the time of ovulation, which we can kind of think about as summertime, our calorie needs have now dropped again. And we're looking to eat foods that are lighter, that are fresher, that are in season, opposed to the warm, roasted, like juicy, high fat and protein and iron that we need during menstruation. So I could go into it. If you have questions at the end, this is my favorite topic. We can talk more about it and what foods to eat to boost the hormones that we want to see in a certain range during the different times of our cycle.
Thank you, Kayla. When we were on the phone and she mentioned that, I didn't know we were supposed to eat like it's the different times of the season. There are specific food as women we should eat during summer, fall, winter, spring. I didn't know
Men
that.
too. I recommend eating seasonally for everybody, but yes.
Do you hear that, men? Okay, she's the expert, so listen to her. Now, Amir, I'm very curious about this question. What is more important for high achievers? Discipline in diet, consistency in movement, or quality of rest?
Okay, so I kind of touched on this earlier. I look at the cascade effect of sleep. So as I said before, I'm underslept today, by the way, but but the tendency is you want to reach for something that's comfortable. You want comfort food. You also want caffeine. So I would say that the priority should be on getting good sleep. Have a dark room, have a routine. Do whatever it is that you need to do to make sure that you get to bed early enough so that you stay asleep longer.
Okay, that's very interesting. So basically you're saying if we get enough sleep, then that kind of, what's the word? That's kind of,
It's a cascade effect.
okay.
So it impacts a lot of other things. So when you have enough sleep, you end up making better decisions. You make better decisions in terms of your nutrition, but then you're also more motivated to work out because if you're tired, unless you made an appointment, you can easily talk yourself out of working out. So I'm saying that from experience also. So I didn't get enough sleep, but I had an appointment this morning to work out. So I got it done instead of having time to talk myself out of it. So that's a very human thing that a lot of people encounter.
Okay, thank you. I want to open the floor to the audience. If you have any questions for Amira or Kayla, you can. Genesis.
For Kayla, what about dark chocolate? Because I always crave the dark chocolate a lot. Okay, so that's a yes.
Okay, so anytime what I see right now, your name is Genesis. Okay, so your inner knowledge is like shining right now because dark chocolate has a lot of magnesium in it. And magnesium is good for relaxing, everything, muscles, you right? And during this time we're cramping, right? Like we have cramps and we have these muscle aches and stuff. So your craving for dark chocolate is your body knowing something that you need. In fact, so one of my favorite like PMS like set myself up for ease snacks is dark chocolate and apricots. Because with the dark chocolate, you get magnesium, and with the apricots, they actually have a really high amount of iron. So
does that mean men?
yes.
So does that mean men should get their wife or girlfriend's chocolate with their PMS?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so men, you should be happy you came here. You just learned something to put your wife or girlfriend in a better mood when she is PMSing. Yeah, chocolate.
Extra points if you melt down the chocolate and then dip the apricots in them. Yeah. Put a little drizzle on them top, you know. Make it good.
Any other question?
I know like they say like not to, or they, but like people say not to have like food that might be like fried like when you're menstruating because of like bloating and maybe like creates more pain. But is there any foods that I can eat to like prevent pain when I have my period, or like headaches, pain, anything like that?
Yeah, so it's all about like those iron stores, right? And so whether if you're not a big meat eater, you only eat meat every once in a while, saving up like that allotment that you give yourself for some dark meat like the week leading up to your period and during your period. If you're a vegetarian, it's dark leafy greens, it's legumes, it's beans, all of those things. Also, your progesterone is rising when you're leading up to menstruation, and progesterone is the hormone that really helps you like that's why the energy drops. It helps you sleep. So a couple of progesterone boosting foods that are going to help your mood and overall feel better: bananas, grapefruits, walnuts, dark chocolate. During the winter time last year, I started just taking like raw cacao and making my own dark chocolate so I could control the amount of sugar that's in there, because too much sugar is also not going to make you feel so good. So I was calling it kind of like my PMS, like not cocktail, but like warm bev. So as we're getting into the colder months, if you just want to get yourself some raw like Hershey cacao powder and make yourself a nice juicy drink, like those are some things you can try. Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's it for the question. So please give the panelists a round of applause. And
Thank you so much.
you're welcome, Kayla. Do you mind if they come up to you after the panel during the networking hours to ask you any question they have? Can they?
Yes, please come chat.
Okay, so you got their permission to ask them personal question during the networking hours.
Okay, sure. All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.